market if we got this. And we like currently there's the fear, okay, maybe like let's reject another time at 4.2. We'd be probably looking or considering like targets to the downside. And this once again would kind of be really bad move for confidence in the markets. So either we get like 3.3 or even like 2.8 ETH, like in the short time, not like chopping down, then I think that's probably a good time to get some exposure, because we'd be probably having some sort of like trend up to some meaningful resistance levels again, but they're probably higher. Or flip 4.2 and the bull continues and we get some confidence back. But I want to just note one more thing. Currently, since I already said, like, I don't know what happens next, I don't care. Like, I care what happens next, but it doesn't really change what I'm about to do. Whenever we are in a market like this, I'm trying to get like gratitude over greed, you know. I've seen people saying like max long now, and I'm sure many of these people will be bleeding to death because they will act out of greed, you know, taking too much risk to make up for what they lost. I think I can say that I did 200x in 1.5 years now. I was even a little bit
Wow.
higher. And now I'm trying to be really like, I feel gratitude that I made this, like that I took the step to go into crypto to get myself in the position I am now. And if the market was, if the cycle was over now, man, I'd be looking at a figure I didn't believe even half a year ago, and I'm totally happy with what I made. If we get other chances in the market later, I'm going to take them for sure. But I'm just saying to everybody, like, don't risk too much right now. Even like you can punt some stuff. I did too. I got like 2-3 positions running right now with lower kind of confidence because of the circumstances I said. But like the position size is like 1/3 or maybe one and a half or something like that. You know, like I think it's a mistake to be too risk on right now.
What about perps, dude? Are you trading any perps these days? Or you said you got 20% of your portfolio wiped out. By the way, sorry to hear that. Was that due to trading perps, or how did that look?
Okay, no, I don't trade perps. I think for me it's also some sort of like I I know that there's like beasts in the market, you know. There's people who will crush you, and I think I see so many people who know they don't have a clue what they're doing, but they still do it. I don't want to be one of those people, you know. So I I'm kind of want to learn it. And whenever we got like a really like dry period in the market, I got some cool cool stuff where I can learn it. I have some material that's pretty good, but I think it takes just a lot of time to master the art of perps trading, and I'm not really willing to expose myself to that field. Um, I'm I may be doing it like with like, yeah, I would say like small amounts of money, like let's say like $50 or so. So something that wouldn't hurt to lose, just for the feel, but I'm not really interested right now into perps.
Okay. I want to kind of run back to something you mentioned earlier. You said people aren't grateful enough. There's not enough gratitude. I think one thing I see on Twitter also that's just, it's so peculiar to me is that people have lost touch of how much money is a significant amount. And of course, it changes based on where you live and your circumstances. But, you know, we see this conversation going on right now about, oh, how is Kobe not a billionaire, right? Kobe just sold an NFT for 25 million. It's like some people just don't get how much money that is.
Yeah.
Do you think there's an issue right now with Twitter just kind of making it seem like everyone should be making so much money, but in reality, it's just such a small fraction of those people who are actually doing it at a high level?
Well, I think it's kind of an issue. I'm pretty sure a lot of it is shit talking too. But yeah, I mean, we are so delusional. Like the
Yeah.
industry is so delusional. In a sense, like I tell myself, in a sense, as a trader, it's good to kind of lose the perception of money a little bit. You know, just to make an example. if I do a trade and I lose 10K, or I risk 10K, or let's even say 1K, okay? So, okay, I'm aping something for 10K, I'm like 2K down. Um, if I really see that money as what it's worth in buying power, then I will just constantly be watching the 1 minute chart. And, I mean, it's kind of important to lose a little bit of the perception of the money in this case, in this sense. But
When you say in terms of buying power, do you mean like, oh, I could have bought this watch, I could have bought this car, I could have bought this, so on and so forth?
yeah, I mean, the amount of, like, for example, when Sol shitcoin season was hot, yeah, I mean, I do like spend free Sol, like, or let's say $600 in a coin where I'm willingly let this go to zero if it happens, and $600
Yeah.
is like, what the fuck? Like, I could actually buy some stuff for that. But in our terms, it's just okay. It's just free Sol. Fuck it.
It's funny. I had this conversation with Chili the other day too, and that's kind of what I said. Like, I'll have my size in these positions, and then I'll have these small positions that's up. And again, this is going to change based on like your circumstances, but I'll have these small positions up $1,000, couple $1,000, couple $100, and I'm just like, even though it's at a good level to take profit or maybe start scaling out, I'm like, well, the dollar value's lower than I would like, so I'm just not going to. And I think you have a good point. I think it goes both ways. Just being able to detach from the big dollar amount swings, and the low dollar amount swings is important, and just trade on a strict regimen no matter what. And I find myself still having that issue too, where it's like if it's not big enough, I just won't touch it, won't take profit, won't really look at it. And like you said, when you put that in perspective, it's like, whoa, well, $1,000, I could buy a new couch, right? Or maybe not a new couch, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but that's why sizing is so important, man.
true.
Sometimes you buy something, you put in, like, okay, let's say you put in a small amount, yeah, you do 5x, yeah, you can be happy about it. It's
Yeah.
just, so it's really important to size well. Obviously not in shitcoins, like in gamble shitcoins, pump fun that you get sent in the group chat and you ape for fun. But yeah, if it's like when we're talking about um, actually like investments, it's really important to size. Yeah.
What's your rule of thumb? What's your rule of thumb there when it comes to sizing?
So the question is not really too easy, because I think like 10% for like some conviction back is something I'd go for. But at the same time, when in the short amount of time your portfolio like swings so high to the upside, um, these values change so fast. So I mean, I started with low four fix. When you do that, um, like in your first months, and then we're talking about a few hundred or maybe $1,000, yeah. And like soonish it was like 10K and then 20K and so on, and it's I think whenever it changes so fast, you should not apply this rule of thumb, because it kind of, you have to get used to the portfolio size first before you actually go back to this 10%, for example. So I think whenever you have like a big win that meaningfully changes your portfolio, sometimes, I mean, let's say you aped 10%, the 10% back of something, it did 5x. I mean, that you made 50% on the port. So whenever something like this happens, I did the mistake before. I was also sizing this up, because now you got money now, and you think, okay, now I'm gonna play with the big boys.
Look, confidence.
Yeah, confidence, overconfidence. I actually made a
Mm.
really a post on that too, that some people really liked, where I was sharing some of my mistakes from overconfidence after big wins. It just
Mm.
happens, yeah? And I think that now my learning is start a little bit slow, keep around the same position size. But actually, I have to admit one thing: it's a lot of balls tingling. Like I don't have set position size. Um, I mean, it's always the question, like, is whatever info you buy something on, is that a known info? Are you maybe the first to really see that? Are you the first who's talking about it? What is actually like happening after? Is it a good narrative, and all these things? So if a lot of boxes check, man, blasted, and then yeah, it's a lot of balls tingling.
So do you do any journaling? And I do want to ask you just a little bit about, like, what parts of the market you're interested in, and kind of get your ideas there. But before we even go
else that's playing into this, and it's we are late in the cycle. I don't know what happens next. I mean, we all hope that the bull market will like go on, and I'm fairly confident it will, but I don't know. Um, what if not? And
Can you get into your cycle theory, or just like how you've thought about cycles in the past, maybe, and why you think this time may or may not be different?
to be honest, I don't. I'm all I know is that we are 4 years into the cycle. You know, we are basically this is what was happening in the past. So 4 years, and then we'd get a bear market. I don't know what will happen now, and I'm not like I think I don't really want to risk it. Like I'm just doing what I get. Like the cards are dealt. I'm being dealt. I'm not saying like I will also trade in bear market. I will be active no matter what. But I don't know what happens next. And I think you've shown here the tweet I posted, and I think you don't really have to be a chart guru to see that's the weekly like the 50 weekly EMAs always held up in the uptrend. It's a level I'd watch definitely, and if we break it, I mean, it's a psychological factor that many others will consider too if it's gonna break. So then I'd start to be actually bearish. Yeah.
Nice. I actually have like a very similar take. We were actually just looking at that exact indicator just before you got on. So my question is though, so you're being patient now. You're recognizing, hey, look, post historical liquidation event, confidence is at its low. Even if you were to win, it might not even be a meaningful port W based on how choppy market conditions are. Maybe you get a good win, but then you get another loss, and it's just not meaningful, and it's net negative. So knowing how quickly on chain can move, like at what point do you get aggressive? At what point do you say, okay, now is the time to jump in? Like, what's your parameters? What's your setup look like that kind of allows you to change when the time's right?
Yeah, I think the first one I already kind of talked about. That would be when we get a really like meaningful pullback again, where I'm not looking like currently. I'm taking ETH for example. I mean, we're like at 3.9 or so, 3.8. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it changed a bit.
4.
Oh, 4 already. Okay, so
Mhm.
we made some kind of move. Okay, but for this whole, I mean, since the liquidation event, um, I think the whole time we were like, if you didn't happen like to catch the bottom of the wick, I mean, 3.6 was kind of the lowest then. Um, that would that was actually kind of, you could think about jumping in there, like buying some spot ETH and looking for basically not more than a 10% move. Um, because like the 4.2 level on ETH is, I think, is pretty important to flip this. So if we flip this level, for example, I'd look for like also uh, some more exposure on chain, because then we would have an uptrending market again. So I mean, we flip that, then we are probably looking to target all-time highs again. And also, I think that's a big confidence level in the market if we got this. And we like currently there's the fear, okay, maybe like let's reject another time at 4.2. We'd be probably looking or considering like targets to the downside. And this once again would kind of be really bad move for confidence in the markets. So either we get like 3.3 or even like 2.8 ETH, um, like in a short time, not like chopping down, then I think that's probably a good time to get some exposure, because we'd be probably having some sort of up, like trend up to some meaningful resistance levels again, but they're probably higher. Or flip 4.2 and the bull continues and we get some confidence back. But I want to just note one more thing. Currently, since I already said, like, I don't know what happens next, I don't care. Like, I care what happens next, but it doesn't really change what I'm about to do. Whenever we are in a market like this, I'm trying to get like gratitude over greed. I've seen people saying like max long now, and I'm sure many of these people will be bleeding to death because they will act out of greed, taking too much risk to make up for what they lost. I I think I can say that I did 200x in 1.5 years now. I was even a little bit
Wow.
higher. And now I'm trying to be really like, I feel gratitude that I made this, like that I took the step to go into crypto to get myself in the position I am now. And I, if the market was, if the cycle was over now, man, I'd be looking at a figure I didn't believe even half a year ago, and I'm totally happy with what I made. If we get other chances in the market later, I'm going to take them for sure. But I'm just saying to everybody, like, don't risk too much right now. Even like you can punt some stuff. I did too. I got like 2, 3 positions running right now with lower kind of confidence because of the circumstances I said. But like the position size is like 1/3 or maybe one half or something like that. Like I think it's a mistake to be too risk on right now.
What about perps, dude? Are you trading any perps these days? Or you said you got 20% of your portfolio wiped out. By the way, sorry to hear that. Was that due to trading perps, or how did that look?
Okay, no, I don't trade perps. I think for me it's also some sort of like I I know that there's like beasts in the market. There's people that will crush you, and I think I see so many people who I know they don't have a clue what they're doing, but they still do it. I don't want to be one of those people. So I'm kind of want to learn it. And whenever we got like a really like dry period in the market, I got some cool stuff where I can learn it. I have some material that's pretty good. But I think it takes just a lot of time to master the art of perps trading, and I'm not really willing to expose myself to that field. Um, I'm I may be doing it like with like, yeah, I would say like small amounts of money, like let's say like $50 or so. So something that wouldn't hurt to lose, just for the feel, but I'm not really interested right now into perps.
Okay. I want to kind of run back to something you mentioned earlier. You said people aren't grateful enough. There's not enough gratitude. I think one thing I see on Twitter also that's just, it's so peculiar to me is that people have lost touch of how much money is a significant amount. And of course, it changes based on where you live and your circumstances. But, we see this conversation going on right now about, oh, how is Kobe not a billionaire, right? Kobe just sold an NFT for 25 million. And it's like, some people just don't get how much money that is.
Yeah.
Do you think there's an issue right now with Twitter just kind of making it seem like everyone should be making so much money, but in reality, it's just such a small fraction of those people who are actually doing it at a high level?
Well, I think it's kind of an issue. I'm pretty sure a lot of it is shit talking too. But yeah, I mean, we are so delusional. Like the industry is so delusional. In a sense, like I tell myself, in a sense, as a trader, it's good to kind of lose the perception of money a little bit. Um, just to make an example, if I do a trade and I lose 10K, or I risk 10K, or let's even say 1K, okay? So, okay, I'm aping something for 10K, I'm like 2K down. Um, if I really see that money as what it's worth in buying power, then I will just constantly be watching the 1 minute chart. And, I mean, it's kind of important to lose a little bit of the perception of the money in this sense. But
When you say in terms of buying power, do you mean like, oh, I could have bought this watch, I could have bought this car, I could have bought this, so on and so forth?
yeah, I mean, the amount of like, for example, when Sol shitcoin season was hot, yeah. I mean, I do like spend free Sol, like, or let's say $600 in a coin where I'm willingly let this go to zero if it happens. And $600
Yeah.
is like, what the fuck? Like I could actually buy some stuff for that. But in our terms, it's just okay. It's just free Sol. Fuck it.
It's funny. I had this conversation with Chill the other day too, and that's kind of what I said. Like, I'll have my size in these positions, and then I'll have these small positions that's up. And again, this is going to change based on like your circumstances, but I'll have these small positions up $1,000, couple $1,000, couple $100, and I'm just like, even though it's at a good level to take profit or maybe start scaling out, I'm like, well, the dollar value's lower than I would like, so I'm just not going to. And I think you have a good point. I think it goes both ways. Just being able to detach from the big dollar amount swings, and the low dollar amount swings is important, and just trade on a strict regimen no matter what. And I find myself still having that issue too, where it's like, if it's not big enough, I just won't touch it, won't take profit, won't really look at it. And like you said, when you put that in perspective, it's like, whoa, well, $1,000, I could buy a new couch, right? Or maybe not a new couch, but
Yeah, but that's why sizing is so important, man. Sometimes you buy
GM.
Yo, what up, yo? Hope everyone's
GM.
doing well. Market is nuking, bro, on our head tops as we speak. So hope you guys love getting dunked on. That's actively happening right now. How you doing, bro?
A little, obviously, everyone doesn't love this market situation. So to take a moment to kind of recognize that, look, people are probably waking up to their portfolios feeling a lot less wealthy, and that definitely means something to people. So yeah, kind of, not great for everyone that's kind of experiencing that. Crazy enough, Jones Rita, we had him on mid-October. Again, this is why you got to watch some of these streams.
Watch the show, bro. Just watch the show, man.
Man, it was, bro, we want notes, as it was not posted since previous streams. I posted the notes. Actually, in fact, I have the notes right here. So this is why you join MCG. This is why you have notifications on. Is because you got
receipts.
You got streamed information. So from the MCG account, there was clips also that went out for this as well. And this was on October 10th, 2025. So exactly 1 month ago today. And at the time, you can see in the screenshot in that show, even actually, Bitcoin was 112. And ETH was, I think, 4,100. So we definitely have notes, and I broke this down in detail. Every important detail that Jones said, I made sure to quote word for word, so that even if you didn't watch it, if you just had notifications on MCG, you would have got this information. And I mean, look, we have traders that come on with different opinions. Some think markets are going higher, some think markets are going lower. But our job is to just try and extract these opinions out of, private Discord conversations, people's brains or people's individual X's that you don't follow, and put it out there so that you guys can kind of see it and kind of come up with your own strategy. Now, we can't go back to 4,100 ETH. So what do you take from here? And that's why this stream is called What to Do Next. The bearish thesis Jones had was that we would hit 2,800 ETH, 2.8K ETH. Currently, we are hitting that level today. And so, yeah, I think we'll flip to macro on that. But that was the big one to take, is he was doing 1/2 sizing or 1/3 sizing, and then basically was watching if the 50 EMA breaks. And I think it was, as per this chart, around the 100K level, which that has broken. And then he was eyeing the $2,800 mark. So shout out to Jones Rita. Shout out to Jones Rita.
Shout out to the boy. Shout out to the boy. Yeah, so we got a few interesting tweets here. First off, the first one I wanted to go through was this one by the homie Mirage, fellow quant. So he actually had this thesis around, the corrections that we've seen over the cycle, quote unquote, bull market so far. And this is what we've seen, right? We've seen 27% corrections, 28%, and at 90K, we're at 27%. And basically right now we're hitting that 30% level. I believe like that 28-30% level, somewhere around there. And so this chart actually is holding weight in terms of the thesis of there being a correction. Now, I will say there is some nuance to this, right? We are seeing a correction. However, when you look at this tweet here, we see that I don't know who it is. Someone is selling billions of Bitcoin on Binance. Over the weeks, we have thought that somebody had to force liquidate Bitcoin over these last few weeks because of the price action on 1010, that whole liquidation event. Maybe somebody got burned on that badly, and so they have to sell all their Bitcoin holdings. GM, a King's mentality. Appreciate you joining us once again, brother. But yeah, someone is selling. We don't know who. We covered yesterday. There was like a difference between the way TradFi and equities are trading versus the way Bitcoin and crypto are trading. And again, just continue. I continue to think there's somebody in this market that got touched on 1010, and now they're touching us as a result of that.
Yeah, and Jones said that. He said 1010 liquidation. There'll be bodies that float to the surface, and here's the body.
Right.
I don't think this is Sailor. Don't think this is Galaxy Digital, but it could be.
Bro, if
But
this is
it's
Sailor, we're going to zero. Okay.
Yeah, we're in trouble. I feel like if it was Sailor, there's so many eyes on him, we would know right away.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah.
Shareholders and all. Yeah, so we have that. I mean, ultimately, look, I like to laugh in these times. I just like to, again, shout out to Jones, being grateful over being greedy, just being grateful to have this opportunity in crypto. I mean, we could be at a pointless 9 to 5 right now, when in actuality we can easily run it up here in crypto, and that affect our actual real life and the life of our families. So we have that opportunity, and something definitely to be grateful for. Quick news take again. Love the Kobisi letter. He was actually on Fox just the other day, but I just wanted to highlight this because this is how it looks from outside of our industry. He says this is one of the fastest moving crypto, get this, bear markets ever. So they're labeling it a bear market. We'll talk about that, but let me read the whole thing. On October 6th, crypto hit a record 4.27 trillion in market cap. Today, it's back below 3 trillion. That's minus 1.3 trillion in 45 days. We're legit just burning through capital, and I have no idea what the heck we're doing. I mean, we see the tweets every day from Watcher Guru, right? Like, let me just look them up real quick. We see the tweets every single day from Watcher Guru at this point. Bang, just another 200 million liquidated in crypto. Like, I don't know where people are getting this money from, but they obviously have money to long. And so here we go. But yeah, so that's where we are so far. We see Bitcoin is, obviously down 30% since October 6th. So going back to that tweet from Mirage, again, we've seen this 27 to 30% move down over the course of this entire bull market, I should say. Or is it a bear market? At this point, we don't know. But over the course of this bull market, we have seen Bitcoin retrace 30%, and right now we're hitting that level today. So something to keep an eye on. I told you guys earlier this week, we're looking for signs of reversal. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for signs of reversal. And right now, the sign of a reversal, I see several things. Number one, like normies are describing this as a crypto bear market. Typically, when that happens, you know, it's probably a local bottom at the very least, right? When we see kind of normies, um, you know, uh, um, talking about our industry in this way. So that's bottom signal number one. Oops, I did not mean to click on that. That's bottom signal number one. Bottom signal number two. There's so far been 2.37 billion from sold from Binance. And this has been for like 6 weeks straight, bro. Like, I mean, at some point they have to run out of cash, right? Right? Like, they have to run out of cash at some point. So we have the retrace, we have the normie social signal. Then we also have this spot selling on happening on Binance. Hopefully that slows down soon. And this is again another normie signal here on The Economist. It says crypto got everything it wanted. Now it's sinking. The slump could spread across financial markets. So again, we see social signals from the normie side showing that you know, potentially we've hit a bottom. So there you have it. What am I looking for on Bitcoin to say that yes, we have bottomed? Honestly, this is a market where you don't want to predict. You want the market to show you and prove it to you that it's ready to rumble, right? Had this demand zone drawn out for some time, but basically we're deep in a monthly demand zone. We're headed towards some even deeper demand zone. So far, we're not seeing much of a reaction, at least not on the high time frame, right? So we have to look at lower time frames to see if there's any sort of signal. And so far, nothing. So far, nothing. There's literally nothing to go on here other than just a high time frame demand zone that we have. So you know, still, in my opinion, still some time for us to bottom. Again, I would love to. I called this earlier this week, but I'd love to see us. I didn't expect us to go this far down, but this is essentially what I'm expecting to play out, right? Just we resolve this downtrend in this demand zone. We begin to reverse. You know, we kind of set a lower high, but at the very least set a higher low, and then we blast off, right? So we'll see how these things play out. Still a lot of things that I need to see to more confident that this is a decent area. That this is, I should say, that this is showing signs of reversal. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a rough market, guys. It's a very, very rough market. You know, a lot of things are being sold off. A lot of pumps are being sold off. A lot of these charts aren't looking too good. We are at that 2,800 level for Ethereum that Jones was pointing out. But again, we're in a high time frame demand zone, not seeing much of a reaction. So you'll notice this as we go through a lot of these charts. We're in demand zones across the board. What we're looking for is a reaction and reclaim of key levels. So we see that with Bitcoin, no reaction. Ethereum, no reaction, at least on a high time frame. Solana, I don't think I have Solana as dialed in, but same thing, demand zone. And Solana looks like it's kind of front ran its move to the bottom, but it again, we need to see a reclaim of key levels. We haven't seen that yet. And then going on down, like a lot of these charts are in demand zones. Pump, for example, demand zone, but no reaction, no reclaim of a key level. Like what I would have loved to see when we began this move up on Monday is for this to break out the downtrend, but it's literally not ready for that. Fartcoin deep in the demand zone, and some of these other charts look a little bit different. But I don't know if you guys see the ZEC chart. Zcash is still, they're like bear market what? pull back what? Like Coletown says Bear Sember. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Maybe, possibly. I would think we get at least a relief bounce before more downside. I don't think December is going to be the month that, you know, markets turn into Q4 of last year. I don't think that's the case. But I think at the very least, like, I'm looking for bounces. I'm looking for a place where, you know, where we can see some sort of relief, even if it's just a dead cat bounce. So there's that. I mean, look at, bro, Met is at such a cheap price right now. I think this is like 100 mil. Again, demand zone on this as well. You know what? Let me chart this up a little bit real quick live. Let me do so. I like to do it on the 3-day.
Yeah,
if it looks
while
decent.
this sold off right back. That's wild.
I mean,
this is
look,
what happens.
It's airdrop.
Yeah,
It's an airdrop price action.
And
Yeah.
look, people go down their list of holdings. They're like, all right, what am I in profit in that I've held for a while? Sell that first. And then they kind of go down the list. What are the airdrops that I have? Anything that I'm holding on to? Let's just get that in cash. And then, you know, then they'll start cutting things that they're deep L's on, and then it'll post it on the timeline. Don't know if to cry or laugh at this point. I mean,
we laugh.
Chill. We were there. Tariff scare, April. How are we comparing that to this?
Oh,
Like,
bro,
how
this
do we feel?
this is a lot worse than the tariffs, in my opinion. Look, it's one thing to have a drawdown after we just ran it up turbo in Q4, right? Remember, Q1 came right after, like, the Trump coin and Melania launch. Like, that is the top. That was the top in Q1. And while we did lose because of the tariff situation, we also made a ton in Q4, right? So, you know, that was kind of easier to stomach. It's like, yeah, made some, lost some. Okay, it is what it is. But after months of sideways, of fake outs, I mean, dude, look at this, like, this Bitcoin chart, bro. Like, just after months of, look at the start of 2025. Start of 2025 is here, right? So we start 2025. We're like, holy crap, we're going up. We just broke all-time high. Nope. Rejected, sideways. We get teased with a new all-time high. Nope. Sideways, and now we're just going down only. So it's like we've been sideways, drifting up, sideways. Like, it hasn't been any actual, like, significant move higher that really put the market in profit in any meaningful way. And it's been like that for months, which is why I'm actually, like, surprised that people are still getting, like, liquidated for 100 mil, 200 mil in this market. So, I mean, look, I think this is worse because this is not only price capitulation, but we're running into time capitulation. See, we had price capitulation in Q1. Now we're having time capitulation in tandem with price capitulation as well. So, yeah, that's why I think this is worse, bro. I don't know.
Okay.
This price action is crazy, but as you can see, this nice little zone here, nice little zone. So we got to watch out for that.
So I want to summarize some notes. What to do next segment. I don't know if we can, how we do this, Chill, but I want to leave somebody, like, people with something. Let's start with maybe, like, I don't know where do you start on this one.
What do you want to leave them with?
I don't know, like, okay. There's two scenarios. Scenario one is you're max exposed to ICM, DeFi, you know, meme coins, privacy coins, whatever. All those are getting absolutely crushed today. you're looking at your port. What do you do? Are we finding the sell button? Are we finding 50% of the sell button, 30%, or are we sitting on hands? Like how do you think about that specifically? We'll start that.
You know what? You know what? If you're looking at your portfolio right now, everything's down. You're fully exposed to ICM. What you have to do right now is take a look at your portfolio and reassess not only your port, but also reassess your thesis, like your belief on markets, on ICM, on everything, right? Like, see if it's still held up. Like, for example, you're looking at your bags, your believe bags are smashed. Will you continue to hold believe, knowing that the fundamental side of things have shifted over the last couple weeks? You would then have to reassess, rotate out of that. So that's what I would say. If you wake up, you have a smaller port, you're looking at your bags and you're saying everything is smashed, take a look at number one, where has the thesis changed? Number two, which bags did that invalidate? Right? Every trade has an invalidation point. At which trades have been invalidated by the market? That's number two. Number three, which bags are you willing to like ride or die for? Right? Like, which bags are the ones like, all right, I need to be buying that right now. So and then perhaps consolidate into those that will run. Those that have strong fundamentals but are just, many are selling it because of the market. So that's what I would say. Prioritize your thesis, making sure it's still accurate with the direction that the market is currently moving in, and then structuring your portfolio around that new thesis that you formed.
So let's say you have capital sideline. You got, if you're lucky, 50% stables right now and have been for a little bit. Or you're, working and you got money coming in. How do you think someone should think about like where to get exposure?
Leverage long Bitcoin 100x right now. Just kidding.
Don't do that.
Just kidding. No, if you're fortunate enough to have free capital, again, you want to look at those bigger, more obvious plays, right? For example, Avicii, the chart is absolutely phenomenal. We've featured this several times here on stream this week. You have obvious plays like an Avicii, for example, like a MetaDAO,
Can you pull those up?
A CPT. Yeah. Give me 2 seconds. I tried and my computer said no. But yeah, you wanna basically to look at some of these obvious plays. They're likely in high time frame demand zones. We saw that with macro charts, Bitcoin, ETH, Sol. They're all in demand zones. They're all at a place of support. So what you need to do
Guys, chill is lagging, so apologies for that.
If
I'm going to give Chill a moment to try and figure out what's up with his computer. In the meantime, I will pick up the conversation here with some charts. Just give me a second to do that. All right. I'll leave him on stage, but I'm going to mute. Oh, we're back.
Yeah, no, I think I'm here, but yeah, I tried, bro. I tried. So if you can pull up the Avicii chart
yeah.
for me,
I got you.
that would be awesome. But yeah, look,
So to summarize,
if you're
to
yeah,
summarize this
mhm.
thought here, what you're doing is looking for strength right now, relative strength.
Yes. So I would say prioritize strength, reassess your high time frame thesis as well as your low time frame on chain thesis. I think it's good to have an idea of where macro is going, as in like Bitcoin and maybe even some TradFi equity stuff. Like make sure you have some thoughts there, but then also make sure you have your on chain thesis, right? Metas, narratives, tokens, leaders of each narrative. Where are they in terms of like a demand? See, like if you draw a trend line on that Avicii chart at the bottom of it, you'll see that from like the November 5th bottom, yeah, and going up, you'll see that bang. This is a buy zone right here, right? And this is a very obvious play. Like this is a very obvious play here with Avicii. So if you're fortunate enough to have cash and have stables, then you should be deploying in times like this where fear is literally eating the markets alive.
Right. And do you think there's like a good chance maybe this comes down below here, tests kind of this support area, and then could go higher? Because I look at a lot of these kind of rising wedges, and often rather than breaking out like this, they just kind of break down and then go.
So that's why you have to kind of like analyze your high time frame thesis, right? Like, do you think markets are going to bounce from here? Do you think they're going to consolidate? A lot of times you don't really know. So I like to do like DCA1, DCA2, DCA3, or I like to TP1, TP2, TP3. So I have areas where I mark off. I don't always just like smash it all in one buy. You buy a little at a time based on again what you're buying, and that's going to be different. On chain moves really quick, so sometimes you do have to smash the buy button, but other times you can wait. And this is a time where markets still have a lot of decisions to make, so not even a bad time to just take your time and DCA into some of these things.
Yeah, speaking of a chart that actually looks pretty prime here, obviously we've been talking about Viva in this area for some time, still looking really great. I think this will do quite well. We had the thesis pinned. Everyone knows, if you've been watching MCG for some time, what our thesis is on that. But yeah, 1,000 wallets created last night in like 12 hours. So keep an eye on that. What's another one? Meta.
Yep, Meta is a really good one. Yep.
Okay. Again, these are ICM names.
Should be good to show charts now, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, you want to pull yours up?
Yeah.
Here, I'll swap your. There you go.
All right. Yeah. So let's hit Meta. Meta World Peace. Meta Facebook. No Meta DAO.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't looked at the Meta chart in a little while, but again, just still in this broad range. But again, this is a pretty obvious play. We've kind of been in this downtrend on Meta. I was about to say Meta World Peace. We're on this downtrend for Meta DAO, and so could be a very interesting area to get involved. And again, you want to. I like to set limit orders as well. So sometimes on like DCA ones, I'll set like a limit order if it's not already in a buy zone. Like if we look at the Viva chart, for example, you see Viva's been in a buy zone for quite some time, and we've notated that. So I'd usually, like, if it's here, I'll just go ahead and smash your buy right now. Boom. I see that even in the worst of worst times, Viva's chart doesn't want to go much lower than, say, 4 mil FDV, right? Same thing here with Meta. When you take a look at the Meta chart, you realize that, man, like in this box at the bottom, it doesn't really want to go much lower than that, because honestly, you can even draw it like this. Like this doesn't want to go much below this box. And so I just set a limit order. I use Padre, link in my bio. Shout out. But yeah, I use Padre, really great terminal, but literally any terminal has like the ability to set limits, right? So go ahead and set a limit in the buy zone, and then just wait. And that DCA1 could be like a bigger buy, so you don't have to like track the chart and watch charts all day. Those limits help out really well. I'm seeing CPT in the chat, so let's take a look at CPT. Oh, quick, we spoke about this one yesterday, so we don't have to spend too much time. Let's see here. Yeah, so we don't need to spend too much time on this, but CPT looks CPT solid. Again, still in this broad range. So not much to update on there, but Coletown was saying that Patrick had a recent tweet that he that was pretty bullish. So maybe I can pull that up here.
Yeah,
in a second.
I got it.
But yesterday we
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
You got it. Go ahead and run that. No, go ahead and run
Yeah.
that.
So he didn't announce anything. He just said in 12 months time, CPT technology will be in homes across the world. It's only a matter of time. I mean, I don't know. If you go from patent, which I'm sure has been filed, to commercialization and sold across the world in 12 months, that's aggressive. That's a super aggressive timeline. So clearly they have some sort of product in the wind that they're looking at. Chill, really quick. We do have Mateus that just hopped in, but do you want to just do a final thought on that CPT chart? And then we'll get
Yeah,
to
no,
Mateus.
honestly, I think we got it fully covered. I think we got
Okay.
it fully covered. Not really much to update on from our last update. Looks good on MOBY Screener. So hopefully you guys are enjoying your time using the MOBY app and using MOBY Screener. Let's go ahead and have Mateus up, and then we can jump into the MOBY segment. How's it going? How you doing?
What up? How are you, man? How's everything going?
I'm doing good, man. Where did you say you're based at? Where are you right now?
Miami.
Miami, no way. East Coast.
Yeah.
I'm East Coast as well. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Well, glad to have you on stream. So give us the latest. Well, first off, before we even start, from the last time you've been on stream, we actually we've grown quite a bit. There's a lot of new audiences, new people watching the show. So give us a quick rundown of who you are, what MOBY Screener is, for all the people that weren't here the last time you were with us.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the CEO at MOBY. We have 2 products that are used quite frequently by the Solana community. One is MOBYScreener.com, which is deck screener competitor. The other one is the MOBY mobile app, which we released about 3 weeks ago, and it's going incredibly well. Probably, in our opinion, and from what our users are saying, the best way to trade and discover tokens on Solana on mobile. Really clean app, super clean UI. It's going to show a little preview here of the app in this video, and it's growing really quick. We're already, one of the top Solana mobile apps by trading volume. We're going to be releasing our dashboards with public numbers when the market turns around. It's basically been like down only season, so we're not trying to waste that announcement, but it's going incredibly well. Even in this market, we're onboarding hundreds of new users every single day onto the MOBY mobile app, and I think it's a testament to, one, what makes MOBYScreener.com and MOBY unique is our discovery technology. We have a really powerful trending algorithm that surfaces coins faster and more efficiently than any other platform out there. And we do this by tracking the smartest wallets on chain. We're updating that list, every second based on a number of different factors. And basically what those wallets are doing on chain is the leading factor into how coins get ranked on our platform. So, one, case study that's, been being shared all over, X over the past week is, the 6-7 coin was number one on our trending at like 50K market cap. So we put a lot of time and energy into our discovery tech, and the main focus for us is help investors and traders on our app win more. And I think one of the biggest difficulties this cycle has been thousands upon thousands of new coins launching every day, and that's not going to change. And I do genuinely believe that most traders who aren't winning or aren't doing well or don't have a great track record is simply due to the fact that they're using the wrong discovery source, right? There's like no way to keep up with these thousands of new coins every single day. And if your discovery source is showing you bad alpha and they're showing you 30, 40 coins and they're late to showing you those coins, or they're showing you the wrong coins overall, you're starting your research journey in the wrong direction. And we're really focused on solving that with our MOBY product. And I think it's one of the reasons why the app has been growing so strong, even in this market, is people are realizing that if you're doing any sort of trading on mobile, the experience that we offer on our app is much stronger compared to what else is out there.
Yeah.
So
Chill, I just want to double tap on something that you mentioned. The mobile app is awesome, by the way.
Thank you,
super
man.
clean. It's slick. The global DCA tracker is like a key component you should use every day. We posted some screenshots of people loading Avicii and MetaDAO, for instance, like millions of dollars at a time. And obviously those tokens have done really well. I can see Solo being loaded on the global DCA tracker currently. There's a 50K buy on Fartcoin. Someone is buying believe it or not, a 45K DCA on believe. So a lot of really good just kind of alpha to go check your tokens against. So
on the DCA tracker, I think so what we did with the app and what we're going to continue doing with the app is we only want to put in features that are incredibly important, because if you look at a lot of these other trading apps, I personally find them incredibly noisy, and so do other members in our community. And I think what people don't realize is the more data points that get flooded into an app, the more decision fatigue you're going to have as a trader. And I think especially like in this market, you just need to be able to like aim and shoot. And we are very, very particular about what data gets added to the MOBY app, because we don't want people to have decision fatigue. So the DCA one is a perfect example, right? We track every DCA on Solana in real time. The reason that's important is because, if you're about to enter a position and, you aren't aware of this data, there may be someone who's selling 4 or 5% of the supply of the coin in a DCA that's scheduled over the next 2 days, right? That's a perfect indicator that maybe you want to scale in slowly over the next 2 or 3 days, or maybe you want to wait until that DCA is done before you buy it, right? Because what the global DCA shows you is that there's going to be ongoing sell pressure until the end of that DCA order, right? The same thing works vice versa with buy DCAs, right? So the buy DCAs, I think, are incredibly helpful, especially in a market like this, because if big whales and big money are scaling into a coin on a dip, and they're most likely not trying to time the bottom, but they feel like the bottom is like somewhere within this range, that's when you'll see a lot of orders get put in where someone's buying a large percentage of the supply over 24 hours, right, or over 2 or 3 days. So I think having that insight is incredibly important, especially either whether you're managing your current position or you're thinking about buying into a new coin. I think for your current position, it's also really important, right? If you're thinking about scaling out of a coin, or you're kind of at a certain price level with the coin where you're feeling a little iffy, global DCA is super helpful, right? Because maybe you go to global DCA and you see 3 or 4 whales are going to sell their entire bag over, the next few days, the good chance the price is going to go down, right? Not financial advice, but you know what I mean? It's just kind of math at the end of the day. So that global DCA is like a perfect example of like a feature that we added because our community wanted it, but also one that gives you an edge. And, I'm not aware of any other mobile app that shows you that.
You're the
So
only one.
nice. You're
Sorry,
the only one.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, you're good. I love the DCA feature. It's one that I like check on a regular basis because, again, it's not something that you see everywhere. You guys are the only venue that offer that. So I love the mobile app. Let's talk about like users. Like the mobile app is awesome, has a ton of features. Your user metrics are growing. Like share with us a little bit about where you guys started user wise. Did you like come in with a core community, or was this just off the muscle, so to speak?
Yeah, no. So we just passed 40,000 users in the first 3 weeks. And
Jeez.
a lot of those users came from MOBY Screener, our social presence, the Acid Ash app. And I'm, the team's incredibly excited because, even in this market, we're seeing so many people come to the MOBY app. And again, I think it's just because people want to be able to use the application that's going to help them achieve the best results. And I think our app is proving that to people. And again, through the tools, the clean UI, the discovery algorithm, it's very easy to navigate. And yeah, we're really stoked about that.
Do you have
That's
like
awesome.
volume metrics that I know the dashboard's not live yet. Last time you were at 30, I want to say it's 32K users. So you've added, almost 10,000 users since, which is great. But do you have any volume metrics by chance?
So we're firmly in the top 10 now. I would say we want to hold this information until the market turns and do like a big release with those public dashboards. I think right now, again, like Soul's down only, and when Soul's down only, like the whole eco is essentially down only. But again, like we're here for the long haul, right? We have significant runway, thankfully. So we're in a great financial spot. The app's doing really well. So for us, like our goal and our North Star is to make this the #1 trading application on Solana and then expand to other chains. But our first goal is to like dominate Solana. And there's a huge market opportunity there. That's what, one of the things we're really excited about it is, if you account for the other top applications, they're generating a lot of fees. And I think another thing that's interesting about ours is, 50% of our fees going to go to buying back MOBY. So there's a really community first alignment there where not only are people loving the product, but, a lot of the people on the product also own MOBY. And I think over time, that flywheel is really going to kick off strong. And, we're having a really, really great time, to be honest, building this product.
Yeah, awesome. And maybe when you look at the other 9 in front of you, or however many, 8 in front of you, said you're top 10. What do you think is the main strategy to pull users from there to MOBY? Is it just continued kind of a fairly generous referral system like you have, or is there some sort of killer feature? I mean, the global DCA tracker, I think, is one. You've mentioned your algorithm, but like beyond that, is there kind of levers you can pull to bring users in from those other apps?
Yeah.
Or is it just awareness?
Yeah. So I think obviously awareness helps. One interesting fact is over 50% of the users on the app were invited by a friend. And I think that, again, is a testament to how much people are enjoying the app and realizing like, wow, I actually have not used a mobile trading experience, this good. I want to tell my friend about it. So we're really excited about that. And for sure, we have a ton of really sick features on the roadmap coming out. So far, we've been prioritizing the features that, and we'll always do this, but a lot of quality of life features that users have wanted. So, buys and sells on charts we just released, candlestick charts we just released. We have a new build hopefully coming out in the next like 3 or 4 days that has a lot more information about your buys and your sells. So like average entry, average exit, how much of the supply you own, cool stuff like that. Nice. So we're adding a lot of these, quality of life things, but we do have like a few major releases planned for December. Definitely want to come on the stream again around then One in particular, I think, is going to take everybody by surprise. I'm not going to leak any information on it, but I think it's, again, like one of the coolest things that we've built recently. So I'm excited about it.
And so you guys have the app. Obviously users are enjoying that. You guys also have MOBY Screener, the website. And I know you mentioned you have a few things coming, but I just have to ask, let us know if you can't answer, but are you working on both? Are you working on just one thing over the other? What does that look like?
Great question. So what's cool is MOBY Screener and the MOBY app, it's the same backend. So we're always working on both together, right? The mobile app sees tremendously more volume, which is really exciting. And I think it's just because, again, if you're a mobile trader, I do think this is the best experience out there. One of the things we're releasing in December ties both together in an incredibly strong fashion. So they're both already unified, by the way. So if you add something to your watch list on mobyscreener.com, it gets added to your watch list on MOBY automatically. If you buy something on mobyscreener.com, it gets added to your balance on your MOBY app, and vice versa. So you could be trading on desktop or trading on mobile. mobyscreener.com and the MOBY app are entirely in sync. Same account system, same wallet, same everything. We are putting something out in December, though, we're pretty excited about. I think just, again, like levels up like the overall experience that we have across the product. So yeah, our team is shipping nonstop, and I think that's one of the things that the community really appreciates about us is we listen to feedback, we listen to feature ideas, and we move on them very quickly.
You know what's crazy? You guys remind me of Padre a little bit. I don't know if anyone was familiar with them, but when they first came out, they're very much like you guys, like very like responsive to feedback. And over the course of 8, 10, 12 months, they built a platform that just had everything that traders wanted. So I love that you guys have that approach. And Josh, you can share my screen whenever you get a moment. But I really like that about you guys and your approach to the way that you're building out the app. And so I wonder, before I get to this tweet here, I saw you guys got spotlight. You guys got highlighted on Spotlight by Pump Fund. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask you about just kind of where you see this going. Like, do you feel like could this get acquired by someone? Like, is that something you'd even be open to, or like where does this all lead in the future?
Yeah, so our plan is to make this the number one trading venue on Solana. I think specifically on mobile, we're doing really well there. And again, like the app's only 3 weeks old. So we think there's a lot of room to grow, and we want to take our entire, team and community to the top, right? So, we're going to do what is needed to make that happen. But yeah, we definitely shout out Pump for the spotlight. It's cool to see other builders, recognizing and supporting other builders. And to your Padre comment, yeah, I think they definitely built like an awesome product. And, as you said, it was like over like 8 to 12 months, just like really grinding and, getting the software better, getting the algorithms better. And that's one of the reasons why we're so bullish and so excited about what's happening on the MOBY mobile app is it's literally only been 3 weeks. So, we have a very talented team, and every single day the system is getting better, right? So you give us 30 days, 60, 90 more days, like you're just going to constantly see improvement. You're going to see more users. And then I think that's kind of how like that flywheel really starts to kick off. So I'm really excited where things are right now.
That's better awesome. Markets ahead as well would help, of course. So last time you were on, you had mentioned you had stealthily bought back, I believe, 0.5% of the supply of MOBY. I don't know if you want to share an update to that and if that number has changed.
Yeah. So now we're getting closer to 1%. My goal when we do release these dashboards is for the top holder of MOBY to be the buyback wallet. And that's one of the things that we're going to kind of do with like this marketing release. So the overall buybacks have been more than the figure I just mentioned. I'm just referring in the past 3 weeks from the mobile app, right? So we're really excited to like push this ICM concept to the limits. And I think it's a very early concept, but we do want to be like one of the pioneers in this category. And I just think we have very, straightforward product that people love, tied with like a very straightforward business model and flywheel effect. And I think over time, as the app grows and we get more users, that's going to be very much appreciated by the market.
Absolutely. And I think just going back to your comment about just including ICM, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think that's a really important piece of this conversation. A lot of ICM projects like to kind of tie value of the token to value of the business is through these kind of buyback models, and they oftentimes work the best. We see Hype do it, and we see that you're being highlighted on Spotlight, which is the new the ICM focused side of Pump Fund. So I kind of wanted to just kind of get your take on where you like, what do you think ICM is? Where do you see it going? I mean, we've had others on this show like Vibhu from the Solana Foundation, who kind of viewed ICM as a little bit different from how the trenches view it. So like, let's get your definition on it, and in turn, how far, like, where you see it all going.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about it is I think it's the perfect blend of product and community. I think that for me is like what's really cool about it, is where your community has skin in the game, but that's like directly tied to a real revenue generating product. And I think the definition and how it's implemented, and whether it's buybacks or like more utility, is going to change over time. But I think the core component that's really exciting from like a builder's perspective is being able to intertwine your community directly with your product through a common asset, right? Which in our case is the MOBY token. And I do think you're going to see a lot more builders, take this approach. I think a lot of people are just like, oh, well, people don't want to have like a token associated with their product, and it could be a headache and all of this stuff. But the way we see it is like, look, you can't control the overall market, but you can control shipping and building a fantastic product. And if you continue to do that, and you have the right business model and flywheel in place, over time, that's going to change. And I do think something that's really valuable that we've seen is the community feels more of a sense of ownership and more of a sense of being included in the product, right? And that leads to really valuable feedback and really valuable community engagement. So I give our community so much credit, because we built this awesome product with them. Like literally, before we even went live with the product, we had a community telegram of around like 300, 400 people who were literally testing the app, providing feedback, finding issues, giving feedback for like little things that could be improved in the UI, so on and so forth. And I think what's been cool is that our community has seen them provide a point of feedback and us ship a new build, and like their feedback is implemented into the app, right? And I think they kind of get to put their own stamp on the product. So I am really bullish on ICM. I think a lot of founders are going to take that direction. And at the end of the day, it's still the early innings for this entire, ecosystem, but, we do want to be a pioneer in this area.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to highlight that Telegram community. I think it might need to be renamed soon from mobile testing to like, I don't know, the whale chat or something, the MOBY whale chat, because everyone is a whale in there. But I wanted to highlight this because I saw this. You're giving away codes now, which each code, I believe, is $50 worth of MOBY. Can you just talk about how this new code referral system works, and what should people do?
Yeah, I'm happy you brought this up. So this is a campaign that our community really loves. It only goes to our most active users. It does not go to everybody. And this is the second one that we've done. And what's really cool is, one, it's very powerful, because you are literally basically giving a starter allo in the app to a friend. And in exchange for them coming into the app and you bringing this new user into the app, when they enter that code for that starter allo, they automatically get added under your referral tree. So what we're starting to see is a lot of people being very strategic about how they dish out those codes. And we've already had multiple users who have hit the 100K threshold. So they've cashed out $800 to $1,000 in MOBY already in the app. And I think one strategy that I do recommend for people when they get these codes is really think through who you want to give them to. I think there's two strategies that I've seen that have worked. One has been people go directly to traders that they know and say like, yo, like this app's amazing. You got to use it. Here's the code. Like I'm already going to give you like a starting boost. Right. And then the other strategy is people do like a really cool thread on Twitter about the MOBY app and then have a call to action to DM them. And then they basically vet all the DMs and then give it to they think is most likely to trade. And it's important because if you give the codes to the right people and you get the right people under your referral tree, that's how people are really getting that reward flywheel going for them personally on their accounts. Because not only are you earning every single time that person trades, you're earning every single time somebody that they invite trades or somebody that they invited who they invite trades, right? So you really want to pick people with like the right.
You're top of the pyramid at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to pick people with who trade and then or trade and have the ability to invite other people to the app as well. So it's been really cool to see people take on different game theory as to how they want to do it. I've even seen cases where, you know, people don't have a following on Twitter. So they're going to other social channels, right? And just like, you know, putting, you know, a detailed thread on a Reddit or, you know, doing something on TikTok, right? So I think what's cool is we're basically giving you the tools to help grow your referral tree. And, you know, people really like that. And what's cool too is the referral rewards in our app are real time. So, you know, you can turn on a push notification setting and literally get an alert every single time someone in your referral network trades. I had that on, but I've referred a lot of people. So for me personally, I had to turn that off. I was getting like a new notification every second, 24 hours a day, literally. But I think for a lot of users, it's great because you're seeing yourself earn these rewards in real time as you grow your base on the app. So it's really motivating.
Yeah, I love that. I have to ask, the tokens that are being issued out they have some threshold where I think you have to trade a certain amount. So you've modeled it where it balances the revenues that you generate from someone trading, like kind of makes sense with the amount that you're giving out. I don't know. That was a bit jumbled, but yeah, maybe address that because people wonder.
Yeah, so we've modeled it out where the buybacks are more powerful or overtake the reward distribution. But even on that point, I think what's like really interesting is we always share this screenshot. If you actually go to our Twitter, we tweeted it, I think on Monday. It's like a compare and contrast chart. But if you do compare us with other mobile apps, we give the most cash back of any mobile app. Most of these mobile apps don't give any cash back. And then we have, you know, the best or one of the best referral programs in terms of percentage on the app, right? So, you know, in an average scenario, we're giving up, you know, 55% on average back to the community on every trade. So it's a really cool system because this is going to grow, but we're starting to see people really focus on, with the code example, leveraging the fact that the app does have this great reward system. They know that a lot of their friends are trading on other mobile apps that don't have the system, don't have as good of discovery, not as good of an experience. So they generally can go to their friend and be like, hey, like this is a better product compared to the one that you're using, and you're gonna get more rewards in the process. So I think like that 1-2 punch is like very powerful.
Love it. We got to wrap this conversation up. I know you have a meeting and we have a trader on that we're keen to get his perspective on the market. So we want to get final thoughts, but I think if you're watching this, your bags are down bad. You maybe have been liquidated in perps. A great way to get back in the game is start hustling and start using this referral system because this seems like the most generous out there. I've seen screenshots of people making $800 to $1,000. The strategy, go back and listen to Mateus's strategy. But Mateus, any last kind of thoughts that you want to leave everyone with?
Yeah, final thoughts is I do think, you know, personally, I think that the market is going to turn around in 2026. And I think you just alluded to a great point. Like the app's only 3 weeks old. I personally feel and our community feels the same way. It's the best way to trade on mobile in the space. Get on the app and start taking advantage of the referral system, right? It's again, like you can be very early. And I think a lot of people see that. And what they want to do is start getting on the app, getting their funds, their wallet set up, starting to trade on the app, and then also starting to grow their referral network on the app and position themselves for, when the market does turn around, we're going to see trading volumes on chain, 5 to 10x. So it's a perfect time to get on MOBY. And I guess last thing is we're super responsive. We have live support in the app 24/7. We're always available on X. So if you have any questions, any feedback, do not hesitate to reach out. We would love to hear from you.
Awesome. And at the bottom, pause the video, invite.mobyscreener.com/MCG. Go get the mobile app, go fund it. And hopefully you can catch the falling knife accurately here.
All right.
Thanks, Mateus. Have a great day.
Guys, bye.
See ya.
Dude,
Awesome segment.
MOBY's awesome. Yeah, MOBY's awesome. I love the DCA tracker. I love their MOBY agent as well. Like even before MCG, before like the stream, I used to like follow the MOBY agent. Like that used to be like a signal for me. Like because again, just whale activity, just tracking that and not have to do it yourself. It's just so convenient. It's so awesome.
Yeah, is that this is Whale Watch here, where it just kind of shows like, I don't know, different trades of, this user, this whale bought this token or whatever. This is definitely helpful.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I love, again, just kind of gives you an idea of where money is flowing. And I wouldn't even call smart whale money smart money all the time. But again, it just kind of shows you where attention could be shifting in one area or another when you start to see, whales bidding certain things. It gives you a sense of what narratives and things that we can expect. But speaking of narratives, markets, all that good stuff, Merc, how you doing, man? How's everything?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep. You sound great. Well, Merc, it's glad to have you here, man. Yeah, I love the fact that you're here. I mean, I follow your content. I'm in your Discord. I'm reading the updates. I'm reading your perspective on markets. So it's a truly a pleasure to have you here on the show with us. But for everyone that doesn't know who you are, just kind of give us a little background on you, maybe how you got into crypto or trading, or what that journey looked like for you.
Yeah. So first of all, I appreciate it. My Discord is free, and there's just no wall or anything. The only reason why it's restricted, I haven't been giving invites or anything, is just because bots, scammers, phishing links, stuff like that. But yeah, it's totally free. I'll open it up again. So for anyone that's interested in listening to this,
let me in, Merc. Let me in.
Man. DM me. I'll send you an invite. Yeah. But I started trading crypto in November 2017, and I did incredibly well for myself. I was incredibly naive. I'm only 26, so at the time I was about 18, and I managed to take pretty much every penny that I had and quickly 5x it within the span of like 2 or 3 weeks. But of course, I took no profit at all. So for all of the bear market, I just watched my entire portfolio crash lower, negative 90%. And that's kind of what sparked the journey, really, is like, there is potential here. Sorry, you have to excuse me. I just ate a really big lunch. But yeah,
no, you're okay. You're good.
Man.
If you need to get a glass of water or something, like, feel free.
I got one right here. But yeah, that's what interested me, is like, I lost everything, but I did see what it was like to make a lot of money. So that must mean that somebody out there was able to keep the money that they made too, right? So if somebody else, then why not me? That kind of mentality, right? Then I got absolutely obliterated in March 2020. I managed to 5 or 6x my account, and this time a much more meaningful size. And then March 2020 humbled me all over again. And so from there, I've totally refined my strategy. I've taken a much deeper understanding of the market in the sense of like balance and always remaining level-headed and trying to be rational, trying to be objective. The thing that stuck out to me the most about March 2020, and a lot of the reason why I have the same mantras that people are seeing me, kind of like advocate for in today's market, is that markets don't have the ability to catch you off guard. So what I frequently remember telling myself, after March 2020 happened, and after I was already, destroyed negative 80% in just a few weeks for the second time now. I remember thinking to myself, there's no way that I could have possibly avoided this. And that was pure cope. And the reality is, I watched my portfolio, trend lower. I watched lower lows get put into the market. I watched key, inflection points get lost. I watched price consolidate, well below my invalidation. And then we ripped off that Band-Aid, and then I got obliterated. So I watched, right? So the new mantra is that if the market wants to do something, I have to see it coming. It's impossible not to, because, and then this is the analogy that I'm notorious for, you can't build a snowman without building a snowball first, right? So now I am just exclusively a trend trader. I don't apologize for it. I get a lot of criticism. Hey, you're only bullish when the market goes up. You're only bearish when the market goes down. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Right? Like, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun being bullish when the market's trending upwards, and it's a lot of fun avoiding the chaos and being conservative when the market's downtrending. So then it just becomes a manner of, how do I portray those ideas? And I, again, came to the conclusion that the reality is even a 4-year-old knows which way the market's headed at any given time. So I just need simplistic kind of tangible ideas to help represent that. So I just use 200 MA and 200 EMA and some interpretation of market structure. I draw some gray boxes on a chart for support and resistance. And I pick and choose my battles wisely, and I manage my risk, and I just try to flow with whatever the market's doing.
I find that really interesting, just the way you just kind of flow with the market, but also the way you kind of hold the market to like a standard. I remember one post was about how you don't look for ways for you to be wrong. You let the market prove you wrong. You put your thesis out there. Kind of walk us through like your mentality. I want to also get into the reason why you use like EMAs, MAs, SMAs. Like, what's the value? I know there's some criticism there. I see both sides. I see some traders use it. I see some traders don't use it. So I want to get your reasoning as to why you do. But I guess let's start with your mentality. Like how are you approaching trading? Are you let's just kind of start there.
Yeah. So my philosophy is just respect the trend, right? So like people in today's market for the past month or so, I've been incredibly conservative, and there's no wonder why. When you go look at those charts, they're just, red candles across the board. Best thing you can say is we've managed to relief bounce for all of just like 5 days or whatever, 5, 10, 20%. That's about it. So I'm conservative in a bearish market environment just because I'm respecting the trend, right? I understand the context of the market at this point. So not every opportunity is created equally. You have to contextualize it. So I'm not going to take, reversal setups in a more bearish environment where we're downtrending on more significant kind of timeframes, just because that is the context, right? So, and I'm just respecting the trend. That's ultimately what it boils down to. So a lot of the criticism that I'm getting today is that whilst I've been kind of banging the drum to be conservative and even bearish for the past month and a half, is I was incredibly bullish at the exact Pico top, right? I was banging the drum, have fun staying poor, you name it, right? I was just basically haphazardly bull posting, because that was the same thing that I was doing for 6 months prior to the Pico top, right? So it's respecting the trend ultimately, and that's might come off as like arrogance or ego when I'm like banging the drum at a top, and then I come back and oh, look at this, I managed to avoid this, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually incredible humility. And the reason why I say that is it's me admitting to the market that I don't know any better than it. It's me saying that I have no clue why this high would be a top when none of the other highs were able to be a top. And all the same signals that I'm getting here today, like people want to argue, oh, there's an RSI bear div. Well, there was also 87 RSI bear divs on the way into the top, though. Oh, funding is incredibly positive, so that's why this is going to be the top. Well, funding is calculated, right? And a lot of the times people will say, oh, this is extreme funding, but relative to when we were downtrending. So that's not really a great argument, because it makes sense that people would want to pay premiums to be long in a bullish environment, right? So it's like, you're arguing redundancy. Here's why this time is going to be different. And I'm on the other side of the coin just going, I'm just going to keep betting that this time isn't different. And then after 6 months of fruitful uptrend, it's on me to finally adapt when the market shows me something different finally. It's then my job to then go, okay, I am wrong. I wasn't searching for these arguments as to why I would be wrong for 6 months straight, because the market just kept going higher. And who am I going to be the person that bites the hand that feeds me, right? I only trade the upside. So if I'm not capitalizing off of, incredible rallies in this market, then what the hell am I doing? Why am I even here? So I need to be capitalizing off of that. And the way that I do that is I show humility to the market. I'm just going to respect whatever the trend is doing and assume that trend continuation is more likely than trend reversal. And so when I do finally see those trend reversal signs and I start banging the drum like I have for the past month and a half, hey, probably makes sense to not be, sizing with so much position, size. It probably makes sense to be very picky and choosy and strict about what kind of trades that you're taking. It probably is better to forego these like low time frame signals of strength because they get framed as relief bounces. When I see those indications, right, it's that much easier to want to flip my bias, or it's never actually flip bias, right? That's how people think trading looks like. It's more gradual, right? It's snowball to a bigger snowball to the body of a snowman to a full-fledged snowman. It's always gradual. You always see it coming. So over time, you're gradually, catering your system and your approach to whatever the market environment itself is doing. And so when I'm able to see those signals, those warning signs, and I'm able to give them a more significant degree of merit. We haven't done this in 3 months. We haven't done this in 6 months. We haven't done this in 3 years. And now we have, right? And so that is going to be what enables me to flip bias that much easier because I've refrained from making those arguments for 3 months, for 6 months, for 3 years, right? So it's just all a matter of like fluidity, right? And I always say you're only ever as good as your ability to adapt. So if you can't adapt, then you're essentially just going to, experience a 3-year bull market and have nothing to show for it anyways. And I've been there before.
Nice. Awesome take. I definitely want to go into some setups here, just so we can kind of like practically take a look at how you move through markets. But before we do that, I wanted to first you mentioned you started in 2017, you ran it up, right? You lost it all in March 2020. That's where you got humble. You got humbled by the market, and now you're looking, and from that point, you kind of use this more refined approach in order to take advantage of the rest of the market, the rest of what the market had to offer. So if someone was in a similar shoes, right? Let's say, for example, someone was here last cycle, they made a ton, they came back, but this cycle has been wildly different than previous bull markets. And, maybe they got caught offside in Q1 with the tariff downtrend, or maybe they're getting caught off guard right now with the current price action of Bitcoin. What helped you to kind of grind again to get back to where you were in 2017 from a portfolio standpoint? You mentioned humility, but what other like refinements did you make in order to help you to essentially run it back up again?
And what did you trade as well?
What did I trade? Oh man, in 2019, I was primarily just trading Bitcoin inverse perps. So I just denominated in Bitcoin, and I was just exclusively a Bitcoin trader. And I probably in like those early days would even classify myself as a Bitcoin maximalist. So it's very ironic. Pierre is someone who trades a similar system to me. And when I was, coming up in the space and starting to get my feet wet, Pierre was primarily trading altcoins. And, he was notorious for like hopping on Huobi and like catching the Huobi scam pumps and all this stuff. And I was primarily just a Bitcoin trader. And I just did a podcast or something along those lines with Pierre a couple months ago. And it's actually the opposite now. I've made a lot of my money throughout this bull market cycle by trading altcoins and just kind of focusing on relatively strong outperformers. And Pierre has actually told me that he's found it much easier to just focus primarily on Bitcoin. So it's just a matter of like, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I think a lot of the reason as to why I was trading Bitcoin was because I wasn't so familiar with altcoins, and that territory kind of felt very uncomfortable to me. But essentially, if you wanted to do incredibly well in 2021, you had to force yourself to trade altcoins. So I started to get, more familiarized with that environment and, apply some winning philosophy there. And the winning philosophy was just very simple. If a coin's showing strength, then it's probably going to continue to show strength, right? Green candles attract more green candles. Strength attracts strength. People are talking about Michael Saylor because he's an absolute lunatic, constantly dollar cost averaging every single month into an asset that has gone up only the past 3 years. Nobody's talking about all the other 9 million people that are doing the exact same thing on something that's trending towards zero, right? There's a reason for that. So it's that philosophy, right? And that's really what has kind of helped me. But I've rambled so much already. I don't even remember what the question was. What is my advice for your boy loves to rant, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
For people that that are essentially round tripping their portfolios.
Yeah, let's say you're getting dusted today. Kind of where do you think people should start to work back?
I will give you in this one statement, I will give you a couple things. I will give you the greatest piece of advice. I will give you the most cliche advice, and I will give you the advice that most people never listen to, and that is take a break. Unfortunately, people only take a break, and when I say people, I mean me. People only take a break after they've already hit rock bottom because there's nothing left to do, right? You don't have any more money to continue with your bad habits. You don't have any urge or passion to want to keep fighting. So you force yourself to take a break, right? And the March 2020 story goes like this. I got absolutely obliterated. I spent the past 2 years grinding my ass off 12, 16 hours a day, totally polar opposite kind of like style of trading to what it is today. It's much more patient. It's much more disciplined. I think in the past month and a half, I've maybe taken 5 trades and that's it. Whereas in, prior to March 2020, man, there were times where I would take 100 trades a day, just 12, 16 hours, a day staring at the screen and charting, trading, reading books about trading, whatever, right? Doing everything that I possibly could. But it wasn't an obsession. It was addiction. And so the only way that I could ever stop those bad habits was when there was nothing left for me to do, because there was nothing for me to do. Like actually, like I physically could not do anything. The only thing that I had was whatever was remaining of my Bitcoin positions, because again, I denominated everything in Bitcoin. So whatever managed to not get liquidated or, whatever, and Bitcoin is, at the time trading negative 70, negative 80% lower than where it just was just a few weeks ago. So I just had that left and that was it. And there was no, money in my bank account. There was no safety net. There was no, dust in a wallet. There was none of that. So the greatest irony and the thing that really humbles you is when your uncle, who for years straight, I go out to lunch with this man like every month, right? We have a great relationship, and he always asks me about crypto, but he's of, he's like 70. So he's like a boomer, and he's like, I don't get this crypto stuff, this Bitcoin, right? So he's always told me like, I don't even like Bitcoin. I think it's a scam. And I'm like, no, dude, you got to buy some Bitcoin. My uncle bought $4,000 Bitcoin just because he's like, you know what? I like my nephew. I think he's onto something. This thing just sold off negative 70% lower. Do I think it'll go higher? Yeah, it's sure. I still think it's a scam. He bought 4,000 and ironically he sold 9,000. But then he donated the profits to charity. He's an absolute Chad, right? I didn't even have the luxury of buying that dip. He bought my capitulation, so it gets restructured, man. It really fucking humbles you. Sorry if I'm not allowed to cuss.
This isn't CNBC. You're good.
Okay, cool.
You're good. You're good.
I don't want you guys to like get in trouble with sponsors or anything like that.
No.
But yeah, man, it really humbles you. It's like my uncle bought my capitulation. He doesn't even like crypto. He thinks this thing's a scam. So that's really what restructures the mindset, right? It's like, oh man, I need to figure this out. This is a fundamental flaw. This isn't a fluke. This isn't a one-off. This isn't woe is me. The universe is out to get me. It dislikes me more than my uncle, right? it's not that. It's flaw. It's skill issue. It's my inability, right? It's lack of ability. So I need to figure that out. And when you're, you know, I just bought a house this year, and the first thing that every real estate agent told me is that if there's ever an issue with the foundation, stay away from the house. Don't even bother, right? It's not even worth fixing. You can't renovate it and fix it up for a profit. Just don't even bother. If the foundation is even cracked or messed up to the slightest degree, just throw it in the garbage bin. And so to fix core issues, to attack, to try to cure causes and not focus so much about remedying symptoms, it takes a lot more mental, like cognizant effort to actually go and do that. And so that's what ended up happening after March 2020 is like, I'm finally forced to not be locked in, right? I don't have the passion. I don't even have the capital. I have nothing to even want to keep going with my addiction, where I'm staring at charts 12 to 16 hours a day. All that motivation, all my money, all the passion, it's all gone, right? So being forced to just kind of chill out for a month and a half, 2 months, whatever, not really do too much, was a blessing. Ironically, when I came back to the market, I started revenge shorting, right? Because I was still traumatized. And at this point, I still was fundamentally flawed in my mindset. I didn't know that. I thought that I was cute and managed to get away from the market. And all of a sudden, I'm a Chad and I'm a legend because I managed to not lose money throughout the next month of chop because I did nothing at all, right? And then I come back and I immediately start revenge shorting a market that is already generationally bottomed and is now continuously grinding higher. And thankfully, I had some good friends around me at the time that kind of told me exactly what I was doing. And I was able to do some inner reflection thanks to them. But man, and that's really where the journey started, is after the revenge shorting. Then okay, wait a minute, hold on. I need to figure this out. This, fundamental flaws. I'm doing things wrong. I got to remind myself why I'm here. I have to not be caught off guard by markets. I never want to be liquidated ever again. It's not cool. It's not fun. Crypto Twitter, unfortunately, likes to glorify that shit, man. Oh, you're not a trader until you get liquidated. No, you shouldn't be glorifying getting liquidated. It's not cool. You're losing all your money. It's not fun, Stop remedying symptoms, and you've managed to keep even 40% of whatever your all-time high net worth is, dude, you have blessings, luxuries. All that experience is invaluable experience, right? When we're up in the clouds, man, the consensus is, will there ever be a bear market again? Do 4-year cycles still exist, right? At the lows of a bear market, people are asking me, Mercury, do you think that altcoins will ever rally again? And the simple answer is, does human greed still exist? Right? So it's like, what has been will be again, man. And you have the invaluable experience of knowing what that's like, to run things up, to lose money, to click buttons, to see rotations, to see things defy gravity, to see flukes, to see fake outs, to see deviations, right? To be wrong. If you know what that's like, you have an invaluable edge over every other participant, in the future. So just hold on to that and take a fucking break, man. And nobody listens to that advice, but everyone that does always comes back to me and says, you know what? That was really amazing because I managed to clear up my mind. I feel recouped. I feel fresh. I feel ready to go. I'm detached from my trauma. I've been able to cope with it. I gave myself time to grieve my losses, right? It's incredible advice. Unfortunately, it's incredibly cliche and tends to get overlooked.
So, I mean, that was awesome. I mean, I don't know if you saw the comments, but
We needed
a
that.
lot of, yeah, we needed that. A lot of people listening to the stream need that. A lot of people trading right now need that. I mean, you mentioned that you use the skills that you've kind of refined to now just kind of be a trend trader. So you're more focused on identifying trends, respecting the trend. So let's kind of walk through that line of thinking. I mean, we see the Bitcoin chart now, and of course, if you want to show charts, definitely feel free. We can share your screen whenever you're ready.
Sure.
But yeah, walk us through kind of your view on the market now. We see it trending down. What are your thoughts? Where are we headed? And how should we think about the market?
Okay, let me get this set up really quick.
Yeah, sure. And once you're ready, just let us know. We don't want to share anything that you
Zappy, you like the notes. I'm actually super happy that you like the notes. You collect it and give it to your big brother. I love it. You know, if your big brother is older and working and you're younger and on here on stream getting notes and giving it to him, like, that's awesome.
Chadette.
Shout out Dom in chat. Good to see you.
Seems like most people most people only start reflecting after they reach rock bottom. Wish it could happen sooner for many. Yeah, definitely, bro.
Crypto Cuba said, Mercury, give invite to Discord, please. So maybe we'll figure out a way. Can I put it in the tweet to MCG or maybe only MCG Telegram? You let us know, Mercury.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely do that for you guys. Not an issue at all. Yeah, so I am sharing my screen. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Yeah, you're good.
Let's see. Yep, we can see it now.
You're not going to like this.
No, I already saw your tweet. I already saw your recent tweet on Are You Bullish?
Oh man, nobody's gonna like this, but you know, I actually made my name for myself. Somewhere around here, I had like 1,000 followers, and then somewhere around here, I managed to get a shout out from High Stakes Capital. He was just kind of saying like, "This is the most underrated trader." He, gives like level-headed, advice, views on the market, et cetera, et cetera. So I made my name for myself in a bear market by being a bear in a bear market. And ironically, if you followed me, you know me to be the dumbest, loudest bull throughout the bull market. And unfortunately, this is changing unlike anything we have seen the past 3 years. And that's the best way that you can put it. So we are doing something different that we have not been able to do in 2 years minimum. What is it actually? Right? So almost 3 years. So you can debate me. You can argue, hey, this is going to lead to only a fluke. This is the extent of the drawdown, blah, blah, blah. But you know what you can't debate? We are doing something that we have not been able to do for the first time in 3 years. You can't debate that. That's called objectivity. And it doesn't start here, right? It's not like Mercury wakes up one day screaming at $125,000 Bitcoin that we're going to go to $1 million. And then the next day, all of a sudden, I'm calling for zero. That's never going to be how that works, right? There's no such thing as flipping bullish or flipping bearish. That's how people talk about trading. It's not how you actually go to trade. So it starts somewhere, right? And it starts with a breakdown below a 3-month range, right? And also losing these 12-hour 200 moving averages. The reason why these 12-hour 200 moving averages are so important is because on a more actionable scale, so not just zoomed out to a cycle kind of like perspective, on a more actionable scale, the few and far between rallies that we have actually been able to see in this market have been nicely portrayed by these 12-hour 200 moving averages. If you count out all these rallies, there's really not many of them. There's like maybe 6 or 7 rallies that actually matter in the past 3.5 years. The 12-hour 200s have really only ever given one fluke, one fake out, one deviation, one bull trap, one market manipulation, whatever you want to call it, right? Where they said, hey, this might be rally number blah, blah, blah that actually matters in the past 2 years. And then it didn't actually work out that way. So
can I ask a question on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 12-hour, so the 12-hour moving average, number one, is that like an indicator that's like widely available? The one that you're showing here, is that one that's widely available on TradingView?
Yeah, it is. This is just called EMA/MA, and I believe the person that made it is called Vaporista. But like there's every moving average calculation should be the same. So you can go use Crown's moving averages. Typically any generic like indicator on TradingView should be the exact same moving average calculation as mine because it's a moving average. So the difference is it an SMA or an EMA? In which case they do calculate differently because the weight distribution based off of the previous 200 gets weighted differently. So whatever, right? But this is the blue line is EMA, 200 EMA, and then the green line is 200 MA. And again, this is just simply because like I have a question for you, Chill. Which way is this market headed?
Well, according to the trend down, if we're looking at like high time frame, I mean,
no, this circle right here. Which way is it headed?
Up for sure.
Which way is it headed? You
Up.
still know, right? It's still
Yeah.
up. Like it
Yeah.
changes nothing. So again, I accidentally fool people. I fool people, and I don't mean to do this, but I trick people into thinking that moving averages are the foundation of my system. No, they're not. That they just so happen to be the thing that sticks out like a sore thumb because they're green and blue on a relatively black and white chart, right, with a bunch of gray. So it's never actually moving averages never show me anything that I didn't already know. They are a more tangible way to represent something of which I already understood. And when you understand that, then all of a sudden you might be able to use moving averages themselves a little bit more like with higher hit rate, right? So we're not necessarily calling this a breakdown because we also have the ability to assess market structure and a relevant support level as well. So this wouldn't be considered a breakdown. It would just be a relative inflection point where, yeah, sure, we're trading below the stupid green and blue line, but we're still holding the other two pieces of the system, in which case we are still mostly bullish, right? And so it's the
So
same thing.
why 12-hour moving average? Why not 1 day, 2 day,
Yeah.
1 week, 1 month?
So another great question. So actually, if I'm being fully transparent, I was using 200 dailies when we were actually trading here. What happens over time is I need to adapt to the market, right? I need to, and that goes in more ways than just one. It's not just being bullish in an uptrend and being bearish in a downtrend and being conservative in shop. It's also adapting in terms of I'm discussing relevant topics, right? And how am I able to determine what is a relevant topic? I'm always going to find the line of best fit, right? So this is where the criticism comes in. Oh, there's always a moving average that portrays the trend. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to find it. And then I'm going to use that as here's what we haven't been able to do. And here's what we are doing now, right? Because this is what the market is respecting. So, in my humble opinion, 200 daily moving averages just aren't as clean, right? So, what the hell does that mean? Another chart is dirty. No, it's just they don't represent the picture in the most efficient manner, right? So, eventually, over time, somewhere around here, I start to deviate. I go away from 200 dailies and I start using 12-hour 200s. And that just so happens to be a better way of understanding and representing the trends on that kind of a time frame outlook. The other thing that you need to understand when you're using moving averages is that they're lagging indicators, right? So they're always just going to follow whatever price is already done. So if they're lagging indicators, then this is a big criticism that I get. Oh, this guy thinks 4 hours high time frame, right? But the 4-hour 200 moving averages are representing the daily market structure. So if I'm looking at the daily chart, I'm going to see high, low, high, low, high, low, and I'm going to see that along the 4-hour 200 moving averages. So it's a representation, right, of something that I already understood. So this is a high time frame trend because it's helping me understand and navigate a 3-month long trend, right? I think everybody would agree that that's a high time frame perspective, right? And it also happens to be an 80 or so percent rally. So that absolutely is a high time frame. So it just gets scaled to that degree, right? When we're talking about 2-day 200 moving averages on that like really big picture outlook, we're actually talking about the trend of the past 3 years, right? So now we're discussing like cyclical kind of bottom indicators or like, is it over kind of stuff, right? 12-hour 200s, we're actually representing the weekly market structure. So if I were to go and look at the weekly chart, then I could see this is a high, that's a low, it's a higher high, but this is a break in structure on our weekly time frame. And the way that I would help be able to represent that idea is by definitively being able to say, hey, from a mental heuristic standpoint, I could still call that a bullish retest. I could still call that a bullish retest. But for some reason, right? And it's not just some reason, it's the way my brain ticks. When I'm looking at this chart, I can't really see that as a bullish retest. This looks like a loss of the trend. And now we're pending, do we manage to break down below the 3-month range as well? And then we do, right? So the bearish arguments just get compounded onto and onto and onto. And it's just the snowball just keeps rolling down the hill, right? Until eventually we get to the last remaining line in the sand in my mind that dictates, is this a bull market? Is this a bear market? And then we lose that too. but it's not like I didn't see it coming. It's not like it's just random all of a sudden, right? The market just shocked me one day. I just wake up and go, oh, guys, I'm giga bearish now. That's not at all what happened. It was gradual. It was, hey, this wasn't a breakout. It was a deviation. You know how we can quantify that it was a deviation in hindsight after it had already failed to break out? We lost a local trend per trail, right? 30-minute 200 moving averages. Why 30-minute? Because it's the line of best fit, right? It's what the market itself was respecting on the way up in that trend. So when we lose support level, structure shift, and local trend, then all of a sudden that is the first glimpse of weakness, right? And then that's where we can start to adapt the mindset, even to the slightest degree. So if you haven't taken profit already, maybe take some profit, right? If you were looking for scalp shorts, maybe that's a good opportunity, right? Whatever. It's not to say that whenever local strength comes in, I go, oh, that must be a generational top. We're going to lose the 2-day 200s. The 3-year trend is going to break. That's not how that works, right? But we absolutely see it coming.
Mercury, you said when you open this, we're not going to like what you have to say. Could you maybe give us, like, from this moment right here that we are on this chart today, like how should people think about what they're seeing in front of them today?
So the way that I think about it is I always attribute what I call directionally proportional amounts of merit. It's a really fancy, term, whatever, but essentially to break it down, hey, if we're breaking out of a 7-month-long range, it's probably more important than if we were to break out of a 1-week range. That's all that means, right? 7 months probably more significant than 7 days, right? 7 years probably more significant than 7 months. So for losing a 3-year-long trend per trail, it's probably not nothing. It's probably not just something that you get to scoff at and just go, who cares, right? It's probably significant to an inverse degree as what it was significant on the way up in the first place. And if you don't know what this could look like, you just go to SPY, and in this case, we go to the 200 daily moving averages, and applying that same kind of mental heuristic, that doesn't really look like a breakdown to me. It's still not really a breakdown. I'm not going to shift, is this a recession indicator, recession incoming based off of, we're trading negative 2% lower than the green and blue line. We're still at support, still finding a higher low on the weekly, et cetera, et cetera. Oh shit, wait a minute. We're doing something different we haven't done in the past 2 years, right? In 2 years, we have not managed to break down below 200 daily moving averages, and now we are. And no, this is not hindsight. This is not bullshit. This is not me trying to flex on you. This was objective analysis that we made at the time. It was just very clear. It was very straightforward. This is not looking good. So we can assume something directionally proportional is going to happen, but this time to the inverse side. And then what happens here is that we just break down from one trend, right? And that snowball keeps rolling its way down the hill into the next trend. And when we get to stocks, man, you're discussing an absolutely absurd trend. It's 14 years, right? This is exactly why people make the argument that stocks only go up. Ironically, if you were to count this out, this is 3 years of sideways. Right? So it's not actually that stocks only go up. It's just that that's what you're here for. And it gets represented by the fact that in the past 14 years or so, we haven't really been able to break down below this trend. You can call this a fluke, you can call it a fake out, whatever, but the market immediately decides we do not deserve to be trading down here. That's a reclaim, and we resume the trend all over again. So how are we really cooked? Probably when this trend breaks, right? And then you can go back in history and backtest this directionally proportional amounts of merit. So if we go to EMA 3, we'll change this to 100. MA1 will change this to 100.
You're doing some scary things right now.
Yeah. it'll be all fine. Don't worry. Right. So it's the same idea, but just, prior to 2008. So unfortunately, I wasn't here to trade the market. I was too busy playing with Power Rangers, but 5-year trend, and then it finally breaks for the first time in 5 years. It's probably not to be scoffed at, right? It's probably not nothing. It's probably significant. You should probably care about it, attribute some knowledge. Some acknowledgement. And then all of a sudden, when the market does sell off to a harder degree than anything it has been able to the past 2 years, you're the person that actually is able to accomplish the very reason as to why you would ever want to be a trader as opposed to an investor in the first place. You want to buy when other people are fearful, right? You want to be greedy as other people are fearful. Can't really do that if you're an investor and you're just bag holding all the time.
So look in the S&P here. We have stimmy checks coming, rates maybe or maybe not dropping. You know, there's the passive investing wave where millions, hundreds of millions of people are automatically buying based on their contributions to whatever robo investing platform. Now, and then you have the AI bubble, or, call it a bubble, whatever. The AI mega trend here. What you're seeing here is that, are you thinking this is gonna start breaking down this 200-day trend, and we're in like a bear market for 5 to 10 years? How do you read what you're seeing here at all-time highs on the S&P?
Well, we're not doing any of those things, right? So I wouldn't be advocating for any of that. It would be like, if you're asking how bearish am I, I'm bearish to the degree that the chart makes sense. So I'm bearish on this time frame perspective because we're doing something different that we haven't been able to do for the past, at this point, it's like 7 months now, 6 months.
Yeah.
So this is something different, right? I think everybody can agree. This is a breakdown. This is a bearish retest. This is a lower low. Even a 4-year-old knows that. You didn't need moving averages to tell you that this looks different than any other time in the past 6 months. Moving averages just help kind of represent that idea. So what is it here? Oh my God, generational top is in. No, not really. You would just kind of scale this. So into the next trend, 4-hour 200s are more significant. So here we are. This is support, 4-hour 200s. If and when we manage to lose this trend, then all of a sudden, now we're looking for a deeper pullback into 200 dailies. That's what makes the most sense. We have confluence in that region. If we lose that trend, we probably go back to that 14-year-long trend. If we lose a 14-year-long trend, then yeah, maybe just F off for a few years and right? But it would just be proportional amounts of merit. And it's funny to me that you bring up the idea that hey, stocks just kind of get a perpetual bid, right? That's exactly what somebody told me in my replies when I said, ooh, this is a 2-year trend loss for the first time in 2 years. It's not great. Somebody said, well, don't you know that, what's going to be the catalyst that sells off the stock market? People are perpetually bidding it, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's just not a good argument. So I'm always just going to respect whatever the chart is doing. And it's trading is amazing to me because it's like this beautiful balance of you have to balance out these things that totally contradict each other. On one side of the coin, you have it's always darkest before dawn, right? And that's a very optimistic mindset where it's things always get very, very bad before they get, great again. But on the other side of the coin, you have it's always darkest before pitch black, right? It always gets worse before it gets even worse than what it was. So you have to find a way to balance both of these things. So it's just a matter of I'm going to turn my brain off and I'm going to just do my best to abide by whatever the market itself is doing. And when I do that, it's impossible to be caught off guard by whatever the market does. It can break down below a 3-year trend and immediately reverse and reclaim it. It wouldn't be the first time that that's ever happened, right? So I'm not allowed to be caught off guard if that happens. And the same kind of gist, if a 3-year trend breaks down and then leads to a 1-year-long bear market or whatever, right? Directionally proportional kind of way of thinking, then how would anyone be able to be surprised? Because that's an incredibly rational and level-headed perspective on the market. So, and that's the same argument that I gave you back here. It just so happens to be a very uncannily similar argument that we get to make on crypto here today. It's not fun. It's not my preferred argument that I'd be, loving to make, but this is how I'm always able to make my own luck. This is how I'm always able to frame whatever the market is doing as opportunity, regardless of up, down, or sideways. I always see it coming. And that because of that, whenever the market does do the extremes, right, when it does sell off to a much greater degree, or whenever it does show an incredible rally, right, with lots of potential for only the 7th time in 3.5 years, I'm on top of it. I'm accomplishing the exact purpose as to why I'm here. But, it's an important note. It's not that I know how to be bullish when markets are trending higher. It's that I know I've enabled myself to be bullish. I've enabled myself to play into the exact purpose as to why I'm here as a trader. I want to capture these euphoric rallies. I want to be trading these altcoins that defy gravity and just run multiples as people revenge short, and I get paid funding in addition for them to uptrend. But the only way that I'm ever going to be able to do that is by avoiding this 3-month sell-off, right? Is by avoiding a 3-month downtrend where, I'm not kidding you, Fartcoin goes negative 90% lower in just 3 or 4 months, right? Whole time, I love Dip Wheeler, but oh, look at this, generational bottom. Yeah, that shit wasn't funny until Fartcoin started uptrending again, right? It's not funny. Like, nobody cares about fundamentals. Yeah. Nobody cares about the perpetual bid in the stock market. Nobody cares about Dip Wheeler saying generational bottom every day when the market's heading to the bottom right corner. And when you finally do start to head to the top right corner, who's going to be the person or the people that are actually able to capitalize off of it, that are not stricken with trauma or fear, that are not plagued with this mindset of, well, every time I've tried to, take a stab at the market, I always end up buying a top, that are not going to, be like traumatized and down in the dumps, and are going to say, oh, that's a higher high. Yeah, it probably means this is an uptrend, and then get to experience a multi-month long bull market rally where Bitcoin only goes up 50%, as Ethereum goes up 250, right? Oh, by the way, this is exactly what we're here for. Oh, this is why markets are not brutal. Oh, this is why this is not the worst bull market ever. I know people, and I myself have been able to change our lives thanks to this bull market. So if you are on the other side of that, finding yourself in this consensus boat of this market's brutal, markets suck, crypto sucks, crypto failed, worst bull market ever, I hate to tell you, man, but it's skill issue. Someone else on the other side of the planet was not experiencing that. And so you got to ask yourself why that is.
So I'll leave this to Chill to wrap up, but we want to have, let's say 15 minutes, and we want to kind of leave with final thoughts and help people plan out, whatever's happened to date to them is like, that's on them. They're hearing you for the first time and they're looking for wisdom. So yeah, I don't know, Chill, how you want to do the ending to this, but let's try and leave people with some notes so they can walk away, and even some projections. Would love to throw some projections on of where, probabilities, where you think things could go, and what numbers those are. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Chill, if you want to read that, but.
Yeah. So I guess the best place to start is, what do you need to see for this market to resolve this downtrend? Like, where are you looking? Which levels are you interested in? And maybe get some general thoughts as well, as far as just how are you looking at this bull market? Are you purely just a chartist, or are you kind of taking, or are you a 4-cycle believer, or some kind of high time frame thoughts there, just on where we are, where we're going?
Well, I'm definitely not a chartist. I'm definitely a trader. I always prioritize execution, hence why the system itself is incredibly simplified. Execution is always going to matter more. So as far as execution, when it comes down to like, what do I want to see? I either want to see the sell-off be continued to an excessive degree into a major inflection point. So something like 200 weekly moving averages. This is not the best chart to actually represent this. So
and can you call out the prices, because they're hard to see on the side
yeah.
there.
So 200 weeklies would be somewhere around, probably if and when we got there, probably around like 65,000 or so. So that's like hey, this is the only key level of support beneath the 3-year-long trend per trail that we're currently trending below. So obviously the inverse of that would be, I would want to see reclaims of the same 3-year-long trend that we're currently trending below. So if we manage to get back above this region, and in addition to that, maybe a reclaim of like a local trend, let's say like hourly 200s or whatever the best local trend per trail is. So in this case, maybe go to like a 2-hour chart. If you recall, 200 dailies are residing somewhere around this region. So if and when we did see a reclaim sooner rather than later, that would be a nice cohesive reclaim that we can rationalize across
100K
the board.
on that?
Yeah, this would be probably like 99,000. Yeah. But you do have to keep in mind these are moving averages, so they're dynamic. They just follow price, right? So that's also the beautiful thing about moving averages is that like if I am correct on a position, then my invalidation moves higher along with price. So if I'm like, saying, hey, we're gonna go to the top right corner, we're gonna go to the top right corner, we're gonna go to the top right corner. When I initially enter this position, it might be entry here, stop loss, invalidation here, below structure, below support, et cetera, et cetera. But by the time that we're here, it would be structures right here, moving averages were below those, and then support, we lost that as well. So that would be the invalidation. And notice this was entry, that's invalidation. So it's always dynamic. It's always going to move along with price. So if I
and we were those April, numbers, the 1,700 ETH and the sub $100 Sol. That's when Chill and I started streaming and actually were super bullish while everyone was getting tariffed out. Just
April
just so our receipts there.
April was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
July was amazing as well. July is actually where I had my best trade of probably this year, and that was this Ethereum position. This is just simply, so like initially, right? Directionally proportional. This is a great example of this. Somebody came into my free Discord and said, wow, this Ethereum pump, it came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. No, it didn't come out of nowhere. It was 4 months of us being unable to reclaim a key trend. And then after negative 65% of downtrend over 4 months, we then got this reclaim. This is 2 weeks of price consolidating above high time frame trend, above support, with a break bullishly, a shift bullishly in structure. And then we get a nice 30% rally, all in one candlestick or 2 candlesticks. So that wasn't even I didn't take this trade, so don't give me too much clout. I was actually able to neglect taking that setup because I had Ethereum in a Ledger account, and I was able to find exposure other places. The amazing trade, the high conviction setup that I took, was this reclaim where, hey, we did something significant just to not really do anything all that significant, right? So we lost a pretty key trend just to find support, just to lock in, a higher low on maybe like a weekly time frame perspective. And now we're showing strength again. So maybe we're just going to resume the exact same trend as prior, but this time with a little bit more momentum, right? With even more bullish arguments across the board that we can adhere to. And in hindsight, on the weekly chart, this looks like a higher low, and then we're going to probably make a higher high. So that was the amazing, high conviction Ethereum trade that I took, and that broke down all the way over here. I did take that trade again. I lost money on it. I did take that trade again. Actually, I lost money on it. But I mean, yeah, I'm just respecting the trend. I have to be willing and able to execute here because that's what allows me to execute here.
Nice. So you're literally just respecting the trend, and I'm from what you're saying, I'm assuming you're not on chain. You're mostly, I'm assuming, leverage spot. Is that correct?
Yeah, most of my wins actually come from spot trading, just because I do tend to fixate on higher time frames. So a lot of the times, like, I don't want to be paying funding for like several weeks or several months even. So I just take spot positions most of the time. So that tends to be like where I make most of my money. But definitely, I'm not an on-chain sleuth by any means. I do not thrive on chain. I managed to do well on Trump coin. That was about it.
Got it. Sounds good. So looking for reclaiming some local levels on Bitcoin before you really take a stab at anything. At anything. And I'm assuming right now you're basically not doing anything, or are you shorting, or how are you approaching the market now?
No, I don't short. That's another unorthodox kind of style or, thing about me is I just trade one direction. That's it. I'm here for the upside. I'm here for the glory. I want the exponential rallies where you forget that gravity exists. So everything that I do is curated in such a way so that I can set myself up for the best possible chance to accomplish that, right? Because that's really the core reason as to why I'm here trading crypto and not Forex and not commodities, is because I am looking for those exponential rallies, right? So what example that I gave is, and I've tried to look for this article so many times. A friend showed it to me several years ago. I can never find it ever since then. But there was an experiment that was done, and it was ran on first-person shooter professional gamers. So the experiment was, let's track their dopamine levels as they're competing, and everyone is thinking going into the experiment that dopamine levels should be highest when they're playing the game, and then whenever they are forced to respawn or die in game, that should kind of like underwhelm them and kind of frustrate them, and you know, we should see a drop off in dopamine. What they found was it's actually the opposite. When they were competing, they were so locked in and focused on accomplishing, right, and winning and doing call outs and, you know, making sure that they rotate correctly and blah 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 and all this kind of stuff, right? They were competing, so they weren't allowed to have fun. There was no joy, there was no dopamine, right? It was actually plateaued. It was just like all the way down here, and then all of a sudden they would die and their dopamine level would spike, and then as they come back to life and start playing the game again, their dopamine would fall back on a cliff. So the way that I talk about it is it's similar to that, right? Where it's like, oh, you mean to tell me that I get to do absolutely nothing at all, right? I just don't have to click any buttons, and I can essentially just watch my purchasing power increase. And probably, I'm just going to make an arrogant assumption, out trade 90% of people by doing nothing at all, right? And then maybe one day I get to be my uncle that comes in and buys $4,000 Bitcoin, right? Oh, okay. Like, I'm going to do that, right? I find a lot of joy in that, because the reality is, like, people always tell you, oh, bull markets are easy. No, they're not. If bull markets are easy, why is the consensus that this is the worst bull market ever? It's not like we've been lacking, you know, pumps. I saw WIF go to zero, from $0 to $5, right? Like, I saw Pepe do the same thing. I saw several Dogecoin rallies. We just are coming off of a 250% rally on Ethereum alone, right? I watched Pengu trade at new all-time lows and then rip 500% higher to new all-time highs in just a few short months, right? I watched Pump do the same thing. Bull markets are not easy, right? And you have to have the will, the courage, the power to actually go and trade them. It is mentally draining, man. And something that I discuss frequently is like, if you and a buddy, like I have a buddy of mine that I've been, you know, we bounced thoughts off of each other since 2019. I remember in 2021, like begging, right? Me and him going back and forth, begging, please market, just sell off. Please just go into a bear market. Just chop sideways for 3 months, please. I'm so tired. I'm so like drained. I can't keep doing this. This is not sustainable, right? Because we're giving all this effort, this mental energy. So why try to do that on both directions, right? Like, am I not drained enough? Do I really want to burn out that badly? I need to desperately make money from the market going lower? Is purchasing power increase and momentum resetting and new opportunities getting presented not enough? That to me feels like the absolute epitome of greed, right? So I just refrain from it. I just don't short. I just chill, ironically.
Just chill. That's crazy.
Just chill.
Just chill.
Yeah.
That's actually my my gamer tag.
Is
That's
it?
crazy. Yeah, absolutely. But no,
Mercury,
man.
on that, are you playing Battlefield 6 by chance?
I haven't played Battlefield 6 yet.
All right.
I think I went to go download it, and it was like, I don't know how many gigs, and I
big,
was like,
yeah.
screw this.
All right. Xbox, PC, or PlayStation? Gotta ask.
I'm a PC maximalist, man. I used to be
Okay.
Xbox.
Yeah. Shout out Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just had to inquire, just in case.
I'm a big,
Battlefield 6 is amazing, by the way. It feels like you're in a movie a lot of the
Okay.
time. It's
I might
good.
have to download it. If
Yeah.
anyone wants to play Halo anytime, Halo Master Chief Collection.
I'm
hit me
a
up, man.
Halo Infinite. Like, I was on there when there was like 1,000 people still on there. Like, yes, I love Halo. I'd definitely
Yeah,
play
I'm a
Halo
big Halo
Infinite
nerd,
with you.
man. I
Yeah,
love Halo.
same.
I suck at it now, but at 13, I played semi-professionally, and what I mean by that is I got invited to one Red Bull tournament where there was a tournament of 16 teams. It was duos, and we placed 16th out of 16th, and that was my Halo professional career.
Halo 3 or what?
Halo 3, yeah, this was.
Okay, so you're the same. You're about the same age as I am in my 30s. So okay, just love it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, look, Merc, it was awesome having you on, man. We definitely got to do this again, especially when the trend reverses and we actually start reclaiming some key levels on Bitcoin. And when we actually get those pumps, definitely want to know what you're trading, what you're involved in. So, you know, if you're open to coming back, we'd love to have you.
Definitely, man. This was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I timestamped some key clips. I hope we capture the essence of what you're speaking out. We'll tweet them out. Please reply to them. If you wouldn't mind retweeting, that'd be super helpful for us as well. But add any context you want, like in the replies. Just if you want to clarify or like add thoughts next week or something, just in the replies, just write updates.
Sure.
So that people like our audience, we can pull it back up and just kind of help people find these resources. Like, man, we started the show in April, the market bottom, and just been grinding at it every day, and it's grown to be this thing. And mostly just to help people. So, and,
That's awesome.
and to help ourselves, to be honest with you. So
yeah,
been good.
No, that's awesome, man. I'm a big advocate for giving back to this community. I do have an educational playlist for anyone that wants, because my system is so simple, it allows for a lot more discretion, right? And I'm a discretionary trader, so it's not really too big of a shocker to think that, you know, the system isn't nearly as simple, you know, when it comes down to actual execution as what it seems. So to help with a lot of those intricacies, I've made a whole playlist. I did this in the bear market, right? When times were bad, and people still are able to benefit from it, you know, years later. All those concepts, all those topics are still just as applicable as they were. If anything, they've just been further refined with newer videos in recent years. But yeah, that is totally free. It's available for anybody that wants to watch. And yeah, I give you guys credit, man, trying to provide value. This community provided a lot of value to me when I was coming up as a trader and trying to learn psychology and get my mental game and everything down packed. So I'm always a big advocate for giving back.
All right, we'll not give away, but we'll link your Discord and maybe that content in the we started a new MCG Telegram, so I'll put all the details in the MCG Telegram and like open it up for people to get it. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome.
All right,
Well,
thanks,
look,
Mark.
Mark, been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you next time, brother. Hope you enjoy the weekend.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
See ya. My guy, Chill.
Dude,
I don't know if you want to do a quick 5-minute wrap, just what people should be thinking about.
I mean, honestly, we talked about a lot of it, right? 100x long Bitcoin right now. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Thanks for the note, sir. Of course, Zappy.
I got you, Zappy. Yeah, look, everything is a lot of work. Getting notes out, trying to make sure they're accurate, capture the essence of the alpha and things to help people make better decisions. All of it takes a lot of work. And when you're trying to host and do that at the same time, it's not easy. So, and I don't use AI. I write those basically in real time, and sometimes maybe I'll get it to spell check it. But yeah, other than that,
yeah, no, Josh is literally doing just God's work in the background just to make this whole thing go. In simple, I think I might actually take Merck's advice. Take a break, reflect on the market. Don't try to force trades right now. But I think that's exactly what I'll probably do. We're in an area of high time frame demand. We essentially aren't seeing the reaction that we want. So what do we do? Instead of forcing a trade, we just wait. And what does that mean for us? Take a break, spend time with your family. Tell your loved ones that you love them and make memories with them, right? While you can, because as Merck mentioned, like there will come a time when, it gets so busy that, we're literally begging for a break, right? So this is the break. Don't full port Sorla. Don't full
Sorla,
port.
don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't.
Hey, half size, 1/3 size. There are things with strength. Like, I don't know if you want to throw Viva up real quick. Viva is showing some relative strength. That was one we chatted about earlier. Again, Chill, I don't know if your thing's gonna glitch or you can get it.
Yeah, I can get it. I mean, we talked about Viva already. I mean, not really much else to say on it, but you know, you want to prioritize charts like this that have this sort of strength. I don't know if you can see my chart there, Josh.
Yeah, it's popped up. Also, ICM just announced
Awesome.
staking too. So I wanted to cover that real quick before we hop off.
Yeah, let me pull that up real quick here. I believe I saw I think I saw Mercy tweeted about that while we were doing the interview with Merck. So here it is. ICM expansion, 1 million in fees to ICM stakers monthly. And basically in this article, he kind of breaks down the founder.run onboarding funnel and how that will result in kind of the bolstering of this flywheel. I guess let's go through it real quick. He says our incubation thesis is pivoting and we have a mission to scale 1 mil in fees to ICM stakers monthly. Going forward, the ICM incubator will be solely incubating fee-generating protocols that commit up to 20 to 60% of their fees to ICM staking ecosystem. Wow, that's actually pretty huge. We are currently incubating 3 protocols that have committed their fees: securities, tokenized assets-backed Launchpad. We have KK leading that. Meritocracy, Echo on Solana Launchpad for utility token projects led by Studhome, neobanking for Web2, Web3 businesses with USDC Rails. So they have 3 pretty big projects that are launching via ICM.run, and all he said 20 to 60% of their trading fees will go back to ICM stakers. So that's actually pretty huge. Makes, you know, stakers liquid. So he said here, well, we will still be incubating new ICM teams that are developing cutting edge new value accrual tokens. This is not changing, but we can do something bigger. Our DAO is built by some of the best product builders in crypto. This gives us an edge. TLDR, more ground up protocols that contribute to our staking protocol, more ground up tokens that contribute to our treasury. So that's what they're looking at doing, not only building the treasury, but also building out, you know, a mechanism of making ICM holders liquid by means of staking, right? And so this will kind of scale value accrual to ICM holders through this this entire concept. So this is awesome. We know that Mercy has been doing a ton of work out there in San Fran, and so you know, this is just kind of early view as to what they've been working on out there, and building out that entire funnel to make this, you know, this staking mechanism really profitable for ICM stakers. So yeah, good call out there, Abe. That's a huge update from ICM.run. Yeah. So huge update from Mercy. Love what they're doing there. But yeah, I mean, not much else to kind of review here. I don't want to drag this out too much,
No,
but
neither do I.
guys, be safe. Be safe. As Merck just said, take a break. We'll see you guys soon. GG's.
GG.